Every new anime season, two big questions enter the room. What's airing and do I wanna watch it? And after last season's incredible lineup, there's no doubt a craving for more great and enjoyable shows lingering around. Whether you're spending the hot days sweating outside, in front of your PC or in your single-size bed, we gonna find out what this anime summer has to offer and if it's worth watching. Let's go!
ここ4バンクだから、あとはわかるでしょ？
ありがとな。
じゃ、またね。
And on that day, a tsundere was born. At Academy Island, students battle each other for stars, but not by using fists, they're just gaming. Hirodo, on his first day as a transfer student, manages to become the only holder of 7 stars by abusing one very overpowered mechanic. Stupid luck. Now being forced to keep the secret up, Hirodo's only chance that allows him to stay at the island is by lying and cheating his way through sometimes simple and sometimes rather convoluted games. If you ever wanted a show that's Yu-Gi-Oh! But not as cheesy, a not crazy kakiguri, or a slightly less horny no game no life with a red hat tsundere on top, here it is. The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses is a prime example for the fact that no matter how dumb the gimmick, there is a way to make a show out of it. But the first few episodes raise some questions. How are you able to forget your glasses that often when you're almost blind without them? Why not store a second pair inside your desk? And why not just walk home and get them when you literally live only a few minutes away from school? As a fellow wearer of glasses, I feel deeply offended. But all for the rom-com, I guess. Well, the gimmick works kinda, and aside from the studio's usual camera shenanigans, it's an okay and incredibly good looking show. But beware, it's also incredibly stupid.
一体何をして。あ、猫ちゃんがいるのか。いや、ビニール袋だな、あれ。
You know what's cute? Right. Dogs. But also cats. And what's even more cute than a regular cat? A giant chunky furball that cooks and cleans for you. Like your mom. This anime really hits close to home, because just like the main character, I also don't have my life together. And for a first impression, that's pretty much it. A show about a giant cat taking care of its owner. And for that simple premise, it almost looks way too good. Because going back to Studio Gohan's, you can say what you want about their weird obsession with camera angles and movements, but the CGI here is outstanding. And the rest of the visuals fit the show pretty good as well. Overall, it's feel-good comfy stuff that can be summarized in one word. Relatable. Dark Gathering, on the other hand, is anything but that. A shut-in who's able to see spiritual beings makes his way back into society just to get acquainted with the greatest horror there is.
A child.
It's always a hard gamble with horror anime because the chances for them being bad or boring are just way too high, but it seems that we got a lucky roll this time. Because this anime is creepy when it needs to be, feels weirdly 2000s-ish, and is the closest to a little spook horror anime fans can get. It's very niche, yes, but maybe exactly the niche you are looking for. A lot of people seeing this will probably think, wow, I never thought isekai anime can fall any lower. But joke's on you, because this exists. Not that I wanna protect this show, but come on, it's so dumb, it's hilarious again. Well, it's an easy pass for everyone fed up with generic below average isekai titles, but if there's still a reasonable amount of self-hatred left in you, go ahead. But as low as isekai can fall, as high it can rise. Mushoku Tensei shouldn't be new to anyone who enjoys good fantasy isekai stories and who hasn't pieced out in season 1 because of the questionable main character. What season 2 holds is even more world and character building, more depression and more opportunities to cringe whenever Rudeus pulls his fucking trophy out. Anyways, it's a great show overall, and it most likely will continue to be so. Jujutsu Kaisen's second season makes every Gojo fan's wet dream come true, and proves again that Studio Mappa and well-made action scenes just go hand in hand. You can expect more Gojo, at least in the first 3 episodes, a few recaps, more people whining about that this show is overhyped, and according to manga readers, one of the best arcs in modern shonen. Speaking of modern shonen, Bleach 1000 Year Blood War is also back with the second part of its adaptation. If you know and love Bleach, you know what to do. And with this next anime, I for sure know what to do with as well. Ayaka has a potentially interesting premise, but fails hard at the execution part. Not much happens in the first few episodes. The characters feel and look like they came freshly out of a Genshin Impact ripoff not even a blind hardcore Fujoshi would touch, and as for the plot, I don't really see it getting interesting anytime soon. If it does, I would tip my non-existent head for the unexpected 180, but for now, I guess the 3-episode rule did its job. When you hear the words Riser in combination with anime adaptation, I'm pretty sure most of us would immediately know what the most important thing to implement would be. Leiden Films for sure knew what they had to do in that regard, and although Pfizer is alive and well, that doesn't fix the pacing issues of this show. The fascinating thing though is that the show still works and gives you this nice little feeling of adventure. Yeah, just playing the game probably would have a bigger and more positive effect, but the anime is chill and enjoyable for what it is. And sometimes that's plenty enough. Bulimia The Missing Pieces is not a sequel to the first season, but an addition to it. The episodes cover manga parts that didn't get an adaptation back in 2021, and if there will ever be more than that, we don't know yet. But for everyone who enjoyed the series and the dynamic between these two, it's more of the same thing, so you can't go wrong with it. My tiny senpai made me anticipate another Twitter outbreak like back when Uzaki-chan started airing. Sadly enough, I didn't see anything like that so far. But for the two people who actually wonder what the show is about, it's about an office worker and his tiny senpai. The only thing that separates it from similar shows is that the characters are actual adults, I believe.
Meow.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with keeping your inner child, but what the fuck is going on with this meowing trope recently? Did Discord mods start invading the anime industry, or do people really think that's cute? Anyways, it's alright, and it has its place. Temple also has its place, and is here for the harem enjoyers. And let me be honest, this show might be able to fill you with a little bit of nostalgia, because it really feels like it could have been airing 10 to 15 years ago. And that's not a bad thing at all. I recommend this to everyone who loves their trashy, edgy harem shows and appreciates the old school approach. Maybe it will bring you some enlightenment. Imagine being such a tsundere that even your stalker gets fed up with it. Wataru, after a few dozen rejections, starts realizing that it's pointless to keep chasing after the girl he's in love with. Aika, the girl in question, doesn't like this change one bit, but as the tsundere codex dictates, no talking, only miscommunication and unjustified anger. I wonder if this show will have made any progress when the season's over, but I will keep watching because the nonchalant dialogues are pretty entertaining. It's not a good romance though. My Happy Marriage, on the other hand, might turn out to be the sweetest romance anime of this season. Miu's life so far has been anything but a happy one. She lost her mother at a young age, and after her father got remarried, the only life she experienced was filled with mistreatment and hate. That's why it came as no surprise to her that the man she's forced getting married to is rumored to be a cold and cruel person. But as it turns out, her future husband, although being rather reserved and serious in nature, actually has a kind and warm heart. And what awaits Miu now might be the happy and blissful life she already gave up on. The first 2 episodes of this anime might be hard to watch for some people, not because they are bad, but because they are cruel. Miu is an emotionally broken character at the beginning and you can't help getting angry at her family. So if you're interested, maybe start this one once you're in the right headspace. For romance lovers, this could turn out to be summer season's number 1. It is late at night, you're not able to sleep. You start looking at your phone just to realize that there's not much time left. Full of anxiety, you're trying to figure out how many hours you will get if you'd fall asleep immediately, dreading the upcoming day at work. Some 100's first episode might be way too relatable to some people in that regard, and shortly after that it shows in a beautifully exaggerated manner how freeing it can feel to escape the chains of a toxic workplace and get the chance to do the things you always wanted to do. But putting the social criticism aside, this anime is a colorful mess in the best way possible. A show that first catches you with its premise and then keeps you engaged by injecting curiousness, beautiful visuals and a likable main character directly into your brain. And if that still isn't enough to grab your attention, there's also a hot tomboy. Some 100 is just hella fun to watch and I guarantee you, completely worth your time. When I started watching Helg, I had no expectations whatsoever. And though it most likely won't be one of the heavy hitters this season, I had fun with the first few episodes. He's just a Chad that wants to have the demon realm who looks like the love child of He-Man and Toriko. The silliness sold me on this and so far, no regrets. A fantasy world filled with magicians and somehow samurai. The Deku Tree is hitting off its second spring with a nice new hairstyle, the rich girl isn't a total bitch this time, our tsundere a young boy, and one of the baddies gives literally birth to whatever that thing is. You see, the Reign of the Seven Spellblades does things a little differently. It gives us a diverse group of main characters, takes obvious inspiration from the Harry Potter series, and throws some small questions around. I can see this getting better the more I see of it. It has this mysterious vibe to it, and for that reason alone, I will keep watching. This is probably the show I'm most split on this season, but we will see where it's gonna end up. At what point does AI become conscious? Would erasing and reinstalling your memories also mean erasing your former personality? How do human relations work if one part isn't what we consider human? The gene of AI throws around some questions and thought experiments, which makes it pretty interesting if you can live with the most basic of sci-fi worlds, because the focus here seems to lie more on AI and human psychology. It is not a perfect anime by any means, but every show that manages to make me actively think about its topics gets a +1 by default. I'm actually really curious in what direction the show will go, but for now we'll just say watch at least one episode and see for yourself. Last but not least, here's a show that completely took me by surprise and also might be the biggest underdog of the season. Tsugaru and Aya are an unusual pair, with one being half Oni half human and the other a severed head. And if you told me that these two characters make one of the most charming detective duos in all of anime, I probably would have believed you because I've seen enough weird shit already, but it still sounds kinda weird. The overarching plot is easily explained. Tsugaru wants to take revenge and Aya wants her body back. Conveniently, the person behind both the incidents happens to be the same guy. So in company with Shizuku, Aya's right-hand maid, the three travel around the world in search for hints and clues. Doesn't sound that thrilling yet, true, but what says this show the most is the characters. The dynamic between the main cast is absolutely delightful, the dialogues are just fun, banter, mean jokes and stupid puns are daily business, and so far the detective mystery aspect isn't half bad either. I highly recommend checking this one out, there's a lot of potential here, and if you like good character dynamics, you definitely won't go wrong with this one. And that pretty much covers it for this video. What anime would you recommend this season and which one should have been on here? Let me know down in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like, subscribe to the channel if you wanna see more of my stuff in the future, activate the bell for good karma, and have yourself a wonderful day. As always, I hope to see you in the next video, and until then, peace.